Hello, my name is Problematic, and I want to make a quick update to my 5-year-old particle editing video that I uploaded to the docs a long time ago because I wanted to give a little bit of a refresher and I wanted to make it a little bit more streamlined for anyone who is getting into the scene of particle editing in their game. So, we're going to start by going to our Unpack folder. And the reason we're going to be using Unpack over Steam is because there's something called VPK files, which are essentially a zip folder that Valve used for all of their textures, which is a little hard for you to manage and change yourself. So we're going to be worrying about the Unpack versions of the game, and we'll start by opening that folder. Now there are two subfolders we're going to care about, along with one bat file. We care about portal.bat, Portal, and Half-Life 2. Portal.bat is going to be opening our game, but we're going to actually be copying this and pasting it, and then we can rename it to something like Particles. Then, what we're going to do is we're going to edit it in Notepad, and on the third line, where it says start half-life2.exe, after dx level, we're going to be adding a -tools and a -no p4. You're going to just Control S to save that document. And when you run particles.bat, it's going to open what looks to be a different version of your game. Now, the way we actually set this up for particles is by going to this little top left toolbar here, where it has File, Edit, View, and Tools, which are the only ones we're really going to worry about. You're going to go to Tools and Particle Editor, and then View Default Layout, and it'll add 4 nice quadrants to your screen. The top left is going to be a list of all the particles in your current PCF file. The top right is going to be a little preview of the game, which we're not going to worry about. The bottom left is going to be all of the properties that you can change about all of the top left particle types. And then the bottom right is going to be a display for all of the different particles you're currently selected. Unfortunately, you can only see one at a time because this is a very old system, but it works well enough. Now, to actually edit your PCF files, you're going to want to make sure and go to Portal, and then you're going to go to Particles, and all of them are going to be in this folder. We'll also navigate to that in our particle editing window with Open. And if it doesn't show this file path in your actual Unpack folder, you can also click this little arrow on the side, and pressing that little arrow will bring up a secondary window that you can select your particle folder in. Now, there are 3 files in particular that you're going to want to worry about: the portal projectile.pcf, portalgun.pcf, and portals.pcf. There's also a DX80 version of each, in case you play on DX80 like a lot of speedrunners choose to do. I personally edit DX80 myself, but for this video, we're going to be doing the regular ones for the majority of people. So, we select portalparticle.pcf and open it. We're going to see a long list of things right here in this top left quadrant. All of these are going to be the different particles, as you would assume. Now, we're going to make sure and disable render helpers on the bottom right quadrant, because all it really does is add a mesh ball for specific renders. Not necessary for what we're doing, but you can mess with it however you like, and if you prefer it on, leave it on. Now we're going to just select one of the random particles here. This first one comes to mind because there's a lot of blue that you can see, and we're going to be manipulating this one. So if we go to the bottom left, there's going to be a little Properties tab with a bunch of different options, and these are going to be different for each one of the particles, but there are only 2 we're going to be focusing on. We're going to be focusing on Operator, and we're going to be focusing on Initializer. These are the 2 that contain the colors we're looking to modify. The other ones, like renders and whatnot, are just for rendering the portal particles and all of the other fun things that we don't need to worry about as color shifters. So, if we go to something like Initializer, and we go to Color Random, There's some colors here that you can mess around with, but the main ones in this one specifically are operators. If you go to operator and you go to color fade, there's going to be this blue color that you see right here. If you click it, it brings up a cool menu. Your HSV colors, your RGB, and your alpha color. You can type in each one of these boxes and choose specific RGB colors like I like to do, or you can also just shift this right here and find colors you like. And if you like a color, you can click OK and it'll save it. As you can see, it'll show the currently used one, blue, and you can just go back to it by clicking it. But you can shift it here and see it in the little display on the bottom right, which I think is really cool. You can go through and do this for all of these. And after you're done editing them, you go to File and Save. The reason you want to save this is because A, you want to be able to see them in game, and B, you don't want to lose your progress. Unfortunately, this particle editor has a little bit of issues sometimes and will crash at a random time, especially if you're using the search option here to search the trees. It crashes sometimes, and unfortunately, there's not much I can do about it. So just make sure to save regularly. Now, the biggest recommendation I have is to actually create copies of the PCF files that you edit, because if you want to go back to the original for new colors in the future, or if you make a mistake, it's very simple to have a duplicate. In addition, there are 3 textures that are not actually particle related that you might want to change. And we're going to go and show you them right now. If you go back to your unpack folder, and then you go into Portal, and you go into Materials and Sprites, there's going to be 2 files in here that you're going to want to look into, bluelight.vtf and orangelight.vtf. These are actually the balls on the back end of your Portal device that change depending on what portal you have placed. I don't really have a visual right now, but in game you'll be able to see this ball and you'll know what I'm talking about when you open this VTF file. You want to edit these specifically because they're not a particle. In addition, the actual tube itself has a color. This is tied to your not your particles, but your portal colors, which are modified using a different application that is also linked in the docs. You can change this texture by going into your unpack folder, Half-Life 2 or HL2, and then going to your materials and sprites. And it's going to be all the way at the bottom, and it's called striderbluebeam.vtf. Very strange that they used it, but it works perfectly for the portal gun, so that's why they chose it. Valve is very particular about the way they do things, and this is what they chose to do. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I'm always open to answering anything you have relating to Portal. Have a good one.